right, everybody, welcome in. Thank you guys for spending your Tuesday night with us. Excited to get started with all of you guys here in just a second. Couple things that I want to remind you guys of real fast here. Let me spotlight myself so you guys can see me. There we go. So a couple things I want to remind you guys of is, number one, if you are not registered yet for our event coming up in November, there's only about 10 days left for that. So if you have not gotten your tickets yet for that, for yourself or for you and your team, reach out to us, let us know so that we can make sure you guys are set up and good to go there. If you are registered for it, then we want to make sure that you have your reservations for your hotel in place. That's booking out fast here, making sure you have your travel plans and all of that locked in, ready to go. So just confirm with either myself or Coach Travis or Aaron. Just let us know that you have your hotel secured, travel secured, all of that, just so we can make sure that you guys are accommodated as you're getting ready to come into Knoxville in November. So 10 days left to register. If you haven't done that yet, make sure you get on that ASAP. If you're still looking to upgrade your ticket to a VIP level, we have one more of those available still. So if you're interested in that and what comes with that, let us know. We'll get you guys set up for that as well. Another reminder is for your staff and for your teams and for you guys as well. Reminder that our Thursday calls that we used to have at 1:30 Eastern time are now being split into two calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 o'clock Eastern time, every Tuesday, every Thursday. We've split those two calls. One of those is going to be on Tuesdays. That's our Grow or Go show. We had our first run of that today, and I know a lot of you guys were on that, so thank you for being there. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of that. That show is going to be based around sales, marketing, scaling your business, tactical steps that you and your team can actually go implement in order for you guys to have success. And then on Thursdays, we have our Rise and Thrive show where we're going to cover business, motivation, leadership, inspiration. We're going to be bringing special guests to that as well to just empower you and your team. So you guys are not going to want to miss those calls either. So those are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, both of those noon Eastern time. We have new links for that. That's in our Inner Circle Facebook group. If you do not know where to find that, let me know. I can make sure you guys get that, and we'll make sure you're all set up and good to go there. We also broadcast that live on Facebook as well. So a selfish ask from me to you is to actually go to our Rise Business public Facebook page and go in and actually share that on your story, on your timelines. I saw a lot of you guys posting today. I'm committed with the hashtags. Thanks for doing that. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. We'd love for you guys to share that live stream from our public Facebook page as well onto your pages also. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, noon Eastern time. We're excited to be launching that show to bring extra value to you guys. So with that being said, we're going to get ready to rock and roll and launch into things here. So let me see if I can find him on the screen. He disappeared on me. There you are. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. Let's do it.
Hey guys, first of all, Cameron, you look great, man. You look great.
Thank
I
you.
got to get better lighting right here. Hey, so guys, how many of you guys have this book right here? I bought this book when I showed it to you. So I want to start off with this. First of all, Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. I know a lot of you guys are in your business still working right now. So for making the call, it's great. It's going to be a big challenge today. Tuesday nights are designed for you guys to learn a skill or to take a mindset that you need to go put some work into. So you are a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. Part of that challenge is understanding you should not have a job for yourself. You should not corner yourself in from going employed somewhere to being self-employed and stop there. Because if you stop yourself there, eventually you will hit the burnout. You eventually will give up. And what I mean by giving up doesn't mean you're going to stop working. It just means that you will get to a point that you actually never do any better. And my definition of failure, this is my personal definition of failure, is 12 months from today, September 26, 2024, I am the same person that I am right now. And Brooke and I talk about this a lot. I tell her, like, look, if I'm 12 months into the future and I'm the same person, I got the same amount of money, the same friends, the same influence, the same understanding of life. If I see life the same way, if I'm not any different, I'm put me in the grave. I'm done. I'm a bad example to my children. If I'm not chasing dreams, okay, where is it written down somewhere that at a certain age you become a father and you no longer dream, you no longer go after goals and everything that sets your soul on fire? Where's that written? Where does it say that you have to now chase your kids' dreams? I talked to someone today about them feeling like they're not around their kids enough. And I actually challenged them, said, well, you're probably around them actually too much because you're not out going after the big things in life you're supposed to go after. You're holding yourself back because you're trying to just be, the minivan driver from soccer to baseball to the next thing, right? And I know we all have those things that we do for our kids, but if your kids don't see you going after your goals and your dreams, what example are you setting for them? So first challenge, guys, is you should be asking yourself every single day, are you growing? Are you getting better? And where are the pillars that you've laid out for yourself, right? So for example, wealth is a form, right? Holding that table up in your life, your health. How about love, your heart? Some of the things we don't talk about so much. What about your soul, right? Like, where are the things that you measure that are important to you? And then what are you doing every single day to move forward? Because you will be hit with adversity. Every time you set a big target, big goal, you're going to have adversity. Who are you putting in your circle? And how well are you leveraging that? Some of you guys on this call right now leverage me greatly. You're texting me every day, asking me questions every day. Some of you guys, you wait once a week, you have your call, and you're not really bringing big questions to me. You're asking me the same things. And I know that basically you're going to stay quadrant 1 employee, quadrant 2 self-employed. You think you own a business and that you stay there. And I would hate that for you to be that way a year from now. So be honest with yourself. Are you actually growing? Are you just on the treadmill pretending to grow? And time's going by. So what are you chasing? What are you chasing? My mission, mission driven, not paycheck driven. My mission is freedom. Okay. In a world that freedom doesn't exist. You guys, America's not free. Okay. They try to sell you the idea that there's freedom in America. There's no freedom here. Right? Slavery still exists. We give 18-year-olds debt to go to college that's owned by the government. To get a degree in some art form, they have $140,000 in debt to make $32,000 a year. And even though it's low interest and they got 20 years to pay it off, then they get a credit card at 18. They get bad credit because they don't know no one teaches them finance responsibility. And then with bad credit, they go get a car loan and they're paying 32% interest now. So they're paying $1,200 on a $300 car payment. So they never get out of it. Slavery exists. It's just economic slavery. So there's no freedom here. No one's actually trying to teach people to get ahead or get better. And we punish the wrong people. We don't punish the people who actually are criminals. We sensationalize the ones we want to, and that's it. So I want freedom within the context that I can get it, which is my definition is I get to choose who I spend my time with, how I spend my time. I can go and eat and sleep and hang out and learn and grow when I want to, how I want to, with who I want to. Where I don't have to calculate it based on, because I remember the days, guys. Go to the gas station. I just left the gas station a minute ago, go to the gas station, look at the bank account. I'm like, shit, that's $4. That's it. Okay. And nowadays it's a gallon. It ain't going far. So what is your mission? And then to the degree that you know what that is, how often are you talking about it? Because if I worked for you and I don't know your mission, I have a job. Okay. I'm not sure if he's on the call right now, but I was talking to one of our clients here about coming to the event in November. Because a lot of you guys are like, oh, I can't afford to come. And that's already a bad problem, guys. If you calculate things like that, like automatically, that's a recipe for failure down the road. When you don't invest in yourself and your people, that should be the first thing you always do. You cannot train your people enough. You can't put them around the right kind of people enough. And there's something different between watching a football game on the TV and being at the arena. Way different being at the arena. There's things that will happen that will not happen watching on TV. You get to meet certain people. You get to feel an energy. Okay. So where are you speaking about your mission or what you're chasing, how it ties in, why you own the business, what serves you, and your people know it. So they're not just chasing a paycheck, because guess what? Their problems are your problems. They have money problems. Your staff has no money in the bank. Your staff has no money in the bank, and they'd rather stay at home than go to training to get better, because you allow it, because you ask instead of tell them. And you don't have to tell them with your mouth. You tell them with your actions. Because if they see you growing, they see the way you live your life, and you're pulling them and pushing them and educating them about what they can have, not everybody's going to lean into you, but most will at least have their eyes open. Okay. So in this book, I haven't got to my notes yet. I'm going to read something to you. Now, first of all, if you have this book, if you notice, these are almost like prayers, the way they're written. You guys who are faith-based, they're almost like prayers, the way they're written. And it always ends it with, have a great day. And I'm not saying you got to follow that same kind of action, but I do think having a cadence to how you speak to your people is very important. Okay. So I'm going to read one real fast to you. This is number 66 in here of the 365. Toughness. We talked about grit last week. A lot of you guys put the definition of grit. Toughness equals leadership. It's hard to be a leader when you're constantly in the back of really tough workouts. It's hard to be a leader when the only time you talk is when the bullets aren't flying. It's hard to be a leader when you skip reps when the coach isn't looking, and then leave the weight room and are the first to brag about the grind. I already can think of some people right now. The true measure of a leader is in their level of toughness. If you're not tough, being vocal is pointless. What you say will fall upon deaf ears. Being strong is great, but it's hard to follow you if you're not tough. If you intend on leading others, the greatest advice I could give you is to become very, very tough. Keep your head down, work as hard as you can, get back up when you get knocked down, and never surrender. If you can continuously fight back after failing and grind through extremely difficult challenges, then I believe you have the right to lead others. Until then, just follow. Have a great day. Now, why am I reading that to you? It's common sense, right? But I asked you guys about when's the last time you sweated with your people? When's the last time you've been in the hunt and the fight? When's the last time you picked up the phone and called people? When's the last time you asked for the cell? When's the last time you did a booth? When's the last time you worked out with them? When's the last time you sat and prayed with them? When's the last time you asked them about the family? Like, how sold are you on the people that are in care of your business, even if they suck? I can't find good people. And you complain about them all the time. Because all of you guys complain about your staff at some point. All of you guys. Okay, shit, I complain about mine. Okay. No one's perfect. So understand, like, to the degree you are showing toughness, that you can make hard decisions in the face of fear. When you have no money in the bank and you find a way to get the training. When you have no money and no opportunity, but you find a way to be creative to create something out of nothing because you believe in the mission. You believe the payoff is going to happen. And I'm not saying being careless, and I'm not saying that you guys should just throw money around. But where are you putting your money? Because the only way a business grows is with people, not products, people. People is what moves business. And better trained people. You know, I talked about with Lakin walking into the store, asking someone. Some people aren't even trained on the product that's in there. I know more about the product that's on the shelf than they do because they're not being trained. So if I walked into your business, would I feel like your people are adequately pushed, motivated, encouraged, trained, inspired by your actions, by how you lead? Now, how's that going to happen? You guys should try to grow every single day by acquiring skills. Skills are the new deals. Okay. And over the next few weeks, when we do our calls on Tuesdays, I'm going to be challenging you guys about skills you need to have in any business you operate. So we're going to go through these today. And I've got a lot, so please take notes fast. There's something powerful about taking pen and paper. Okay. I do the reverse. I write my notes down on this notepad right next to me, and then I put it in my phone, not the other way around. So first, we talked about grit last week, right? We talked about toughness today. Where are you demonstrating that? Leadership is desperately needed right now. You can be doing well and not doing well. What does that mean? You know, you could be doing great in your personal life. Your business is sucking. You could have your business flourishing and your personal life's going to hell. We don't really want that. We want to win in all those buckets. We're not just chasing money. Hopefully you're trying to win in all these areas. Okay. Long-term success is different than success. Some of you guys get a victory in the day and you start celebrating, or a victory for a week and you start celebrating. Like right now, hey, Cameron, is Eric Ariaga on this call?
No, sir.
Okay, so he should be. Let me tell you something about Eric. Remember, this is about coaching hard. I text him what his revenue was month to date. Every month he does $100,000, 3 schools. Every month he does $100,000. Today he tells me at 96,000 and he thinks he's 4,000 away. He's got the wrong goal. He's getting comfortable staying with status quo. And guess what? He had to let someone go. He had to step back into his business. He's going to constantly yo-yo. He's the definition right now. What I told you what failure is doing the same thing a year later. Okay. And so I said, well, hey, you're 40,000 away. Not bad. You got 4 days. Why would you not do 40,000 the next 4 days? Because you've gotten comfortable letting it do 100K every month, living off your 100,000 a year that you're making off of 1.2 million. 12% is not success. But he's allowed himself to believe that because he compares himself to some of you guys on this call because he thinks he's the top dog instead of trying to go to the next level. So staying the same would be failure in my definition. So why would you celebrate too soon? Because there's a difference between success and long-term success. Next challenge for you guys on here. Why are you not looking at your next business opportunity 7 days a week? Why are you not looking at it? Because you don't believe you have skills to go after the next business. Because you're still fighting the fight you're in right now. Because you're still letting problems stay problems because you're not actually growing. So right now, if you feel like the preacher's talking directly to you, then that's what you need to hear. You need to write it down. Okay, what skills am I missing? Where am I suffering? Where am I having the same problem on January as I have now? Even if your money's gone up, but you're still having the same problems. What skills are you lacking? Is it communication? Is it accountability? Is it vision? Right? So understand, like, are you even using your references and your people properly? Or are you just getting comfortable with where things are? Which means adversity is going to knock you down flat on your face at some point. It's just a matter of when. Okay. Accountability is a hard subject. Your staff doesn't want accountability. They don't want to be micromanaged. They don't want to go to training. Why would I ask my staff what they're doing? I pay them. They work for me. They have the freedom to leave anytime they want to. I'm not going to be held hostage. I'd rather shut my company down than to dictate to me from a staff member that I write a check knowing that they can leave at any time. They don't want accountability. My son does not want accountability. My daughter does not want accountability. They want freedom too. They hadn't earned it. Okay. You don't trust your staff a lot of times because you don't fully trust yourself. You still struggle with believing in yourself that you can do this. And you want to quickly give away some of these tasks that are beneath you, or you don't have the skills, or you're embarrassed to admit. So to the degree that you're growing, how can you require your team members to actually get better at something, to put in some work every single day, to challenge themselves to be better physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if they don't see you doing that? Okay. So how your team sees you compared to how you see yourself can be two different things. So some of the things that you guys need to be thinking about with your team members. Here's some questions. Can I help you? Can I trust you? Do you care for me? What is it like to be across from me? These are questions, whether you out loud ask or you think about them, so you can put yourself in that other set of shoes so you can have some self-awareness. Okay. You can raise your standards of giving, not just your standard of living. So if we're chasing long-term success, and I'm not talking about giving money, but where have you created freedom in your life with the skills that you are working towards acquiring that allows you to have some freedom to give time, maybe money, maybe your voice, maybe your ear, maybe your arms? We're all human, guys. And, you know, it might take money to make a business work sometimes, and it takes people. But wouldn't it be nice to have enough success when someone's in need of just a phone call, a hug, showing up somewhere, listening to them, or to help them create some stories in their life, which is what I love to do. Okay, Cameron lives a great life because he's connected with me. I mean, he's had a great weekend this weekend, just from being connected to me. I love creating stories for people. Wouldn't it be nice to not just increase your standard of living, but increase your standard of giving? I wonder how many of you guys on this call actually measure that. Or when you make more money, you think about the car you're going to buy, or the house you live in, or the vacation you're going to go on. What about your staff? They get an extra $5,000. What do you think is going to happen? What if you were the example of not only increasing your standard of living for your family and yourself, but your standard of giving continuously? And if you're ever around me, I'm probably the biggest giver I've ever met, percentage-wise. I'm sure people give millions and billions of dollars or whatever, but I probably give away 70% of my time, energy, effort, and money on a daily level, maybe more. Okay, every single day. Just did it a minute ago. Okay, and Cameron gets, every time Cameron's with me, he gets to witness this. It's either time, it's conversation, it's money. So think about, why would we not measure that as well too? Okay, so the reason why we're going through these things is people lack awareness. We lack awareness. We're not in tune with how our staff sees us. We're not in tune sometimes how we see ourselves. And we know the parts we don't like of ourselves, and we shy away from actually growing into that version of who we need to be as a business leader. This book just said, you don't deserve to be a leader if you can't be tough, right? Still be a follower if you can't be tough. Well, what is the definition of tough, right? We talked about grit. Like, tough is the fact that, can you lean into those things that you know you're not good at? Because you can't hire away every skill. People need to be attracted to come work for you. So when I go through these things right now, hopefully you're writing these down. There should be one of those right now that you know is factual, you need to go work on. Or today the whole day went today and you didn't get a little bit better. You didn't actually work on your wealth or your health or your soul or your heart, your influence. You didn't work on any of those. Okay. You didn't work on your giving. You didn't think about your staff today, other than being mad at them for not doing something right. The best train the most. How are they actually training every single day? A meeting is not a training. Okay. So I'm going to switch the subject. And on Thursday's call, I'm going to touch a little bit on this stuff, but from like just a higher periphery level, because it's designed to kind of be for anybody to hear. The goal is, as a business owner, you have the biggest burden because you have responsibility. It's called Firelighters 365. I am. It's almost like a prayer book, the way it's written. You guys have a responsibility to be successful, one, for yourself and your family, but two, for the people that have chosen to work for you. They chose to work for you, even if they're not good at their job yet. Okay, you got to remember that. And you got to think about this too. I just saw my dad a minute ago. My mom is having an MRI tomorrow. She had to be in the hospital last week. Might have cancer. They're going through all the steps for that. I'm not even worried right now because I don't know any of the right information. My mom's freaking out. Until I know fact, I'm not going to freak out. Okay. But she's freaking out because they got to do another MRI tomorrow. And like every time there's more stuff they don't want to tell you, that's when she freaks out a little bit more. Okay. I get it. But why worry about things you can't control right now? You don't know. That's the way I look at it. And maybe I'm a little different. But the things I can't control, I want to be in front of and I want to work on. I can be in control of me growing as a person. I can be in control of my team. I don't need to be asking my team. And I also don't need to be sitting around letting people sabotage my future, my success. So I have a responsibility to grow my people by setting the example, sweating with my people. Doesn't mean it's all hard work, and there's joy in hard work, by the way, but there's a lot of fun to be had at the same time. So I'm talking with my dad about his staff. My dad lost a team member that he should have fired 2 years ago. He knew he should have fired the guy, but he didn't want to deal with trying to go find somebody else. So guess what? This guy eventually quit. So my dad's having to find someone, which means my dad, 65 years old, is back in his business, working part of the job he doesn't want to work. because he has a different way of seeing things. See, I would not step back in my business. I would have hired someone, trained that person, even if my business drops in the process, even if I lose clients in the process. Because if I yo-yo this way with my business, I will do that for the remainder of time. And some of you guys on this call do that because you don't trust yourself that you can teach someone, train someone, hold them accountable because you haven't acquired those skills. So if that's you, those should be some of the questions you should be asking. How do I do this, Aaron? What's my time horizon to make that work? These are things you should be trying to figure out. Otherwise, you will never own a business. You'll have a job the rest of your life. Problem with having a job is you have nothing transferable. You go to sell your business because you're such a key component in your business, it's not sellable. Okay. So once you acquire these skills, you'll start having a confidence and a competency to yourself that you will actually look for the other opportunities to scale your revenue, so your standard of living and giving can improve. You know, one of my targets, guys, and I do dream about this, and I think money is the easiest thing to give away, right? Everybody on this call could pull out $100 right now and give it to somebody. That's easy. But given your time, your talent, your resource, especially when you have a limited amount of that and you already have to chop it up between family and friends and work, that's hard to do. So money can scale that. Like I have a vision one day of writing someone a check for $1 million and giving it away to a charity I believe in or creating a charity. The only way I can give that away is I have to have more than $1 million to give that away. So how awesome would that feel? Because I know how it feels when I give $100 away or $1,000 away or $10,000 away. Like it's awesome feeling. It's also awesome when you take someone and give them an experience they've never had. It's also the coolest experience ever to see someone that you've taught to do certain things and they help the next person do it. That's even better. So are you growing intentionally 7 days a week? Or you take Sundays off? You took Tuesday off. You took Friday off. You're on vacation. I mean, this book does say 365 on it. You're right. It doesn't say 280. So if you're not actually growing in some form every single day, within some attention behind the skills you need to get better so you can run a business and eventually get to the fourth quadrant, which is the investor level, you're going to struggle. And you're always going to be trading time for money. And you will probably never acquire the freedom that's what I'm going after. I'm envisioning grandkids one day and I can go where I want to when I want to. Jackson better hold off for a couple of years though. Okay. Had that talk a couple of days ago. Better not be in a hurry for that. All right. Cameron should be having kids first. Last thing today, and I'll give you guys some time from Q&A. The valleys are full of lessons teaching you how to get back to the peak. The valleys are full of lessons teaching you how to get back to the peak. I have this strong belief, guys, and I'm a person of faith. I believe God makes us, maybe it's humorous for him, I don't know. Maybe that's one of the questions I'll ask him. But there's always some massive strengths and attributes that we have, and there's also the complete reverse of that in some other bucket, right? Like, let's keep it simple. Some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life were also typically the least athletic. It's kind of that balance. Your brain's so big, your body don't work type thing. Well, same thing here. If all you do is win all the time, okay, and your hands stay there, and that's all you do, how are you going to actually respect the winning? Like if you don't actually have some downturn, some pain, some adversity, it's not enjoyable. Like you have to have some pain or some valleys. So when you do get to the peak, you recognize it. Okay. I just spent some time with family and friends this past weekend out of town for 2 days, celebrating 30 years of earning my black belt. I've been in martial arts 40 years now, 30 years as a black belt. Cameron's not even 30 years old. I've been a black belt longer than this man's been alive. And using that as a reason to create a story for us to go do an event out of town and go to a concert and go to dinner and just be together. I mean, the best part of it was we stayed in an Airbnb and we played games. We played different games. That was the best part of it, not the concert, in my opinion. It was just socializing, hanging out, fellowship. Okay. And it was simple and beautiful at the same time. But that moment is appreciated because the 30 days in a row of working and not knowing it's a Sunday and working and not knowing it's a Friday and working. So when you have a day that you can sit there and play games for a few hours and have conversations, right? It makes it more meaningful, more depth to it. But if that was every day, I wouldn't appreciate it as much. You need some valleys in life. You need some pain in business to motivate you, inspire you not to go back there. But there's lessons you should be grabbing. And those lessons are designed so you can give those lessons to someone, your staff, your kids, yourself. And so you need to be documenting. You need to be leveraging that pain to inspire you to go to that next level. Okay. And I'm gonna finish up with Cameron did a great job on the call today. Hopefully you guys made that. It's on his YouTube, which he'll drop that link here for you. Those will be broadcast, so you guys can grab those and give them to your staff. You can require them to be on them live, or you can have them watch them later. You don't have to require them. It's your call, it's your business. But I want a team that actually, like my rule in my business, guys, is I required, if you work for me, before you ever clock in for work, we had a culture of 90 minutes a day of self-improvement. You can define that. I let them define it. I gave them tools, books, videos, Cardone University, but 90 minutes of self-improvement, working out, right? There's a guy that I know that he requires everyone on his staff to have a six-pack. That's a little maybe excessive, but 90 minutes before you come to work. You come to work at 2 o'clock. You can't get up and go to the gym or read a book or spend time with your family, work on your influence, work on your friends with some intention before you come to work. You can't work for me. Okay. So you can choose how to use those calls. I'm going to go over something right now that kind of goes on with the call that happened today. Okay. And if you didn't watch that, go back and watch it. 10 reasons why you failed to close a deal. Okay. 10 reasons. First one's pretty simple. You don't attempt. Don't attempt it. You're too busy in your head. And this might not be you. This might be your team. But you're too busy in your head overthinking something. So you don't even attempt it. You don't ask. Okay. Pressure is perceived as a bad thing. Oh, I don't want to ask him again. I've already asked him but once. Do you not believe that you have the right value, the right product? Right? I'm going to keep asking until they tell me, let's go, or, what else? They can go too. So pressure is perceived as a bad thing. Pressure is the only way you grow. Unwillingness to deal with emotions. You don't like that person quapping back at you, like saying, oh, it's expensive or whatever. Like you don't want to deal with the emotion of it. Or they get pissed off about something, or they're overly excited and you can't control it either. I saw a master class Sunday night. A master class. Like honestly, probably one of the best examples of ever learning, demonstrating, executing how to handle people. I went and saw a stand-up comedian, never heard of him before. His name is Joe Coy or something like that. I don't know who he is. My wife wanted to go see him. Went and took her to see him. And he starts off, like most of you have been to the comedians, he starts off with he has, pre-planned jokes. Into the first joke, after they tell someone not to heckle, someone heckles. He gets a little off track. He handles that person. Somebody rushes the stage. Another person rushes the stage. Starts becoming an issue. He smiled through it. Kept the audience going. Never really made it a big scene. Went 45 minutes past the time the show was supposed to be over. Never actually did his routine. Did four of his jokes he was supposed to do. Never did the routine. Kept the crowd in control the whole time when there was chaos going on. It was a masterclass of actually dealing with the emotion of the crowd. So how willing are your instructors, your salespeople, your staff, your front desk dealing with all the emotions that's going to come along when, especially when you have a product dealing with people's kids. Okay. I've seen some wild stuff for sure. I'm sure you guys have too. A lack of belief in the product. You're not sold or your staff's not sold. And they're not sold because they're not training on it because they just got a job selling a product they don't even believe in, which eventually they're going to leave you and you have to train somebody else. Okay. Because you haven't sold them on the mission of what you're doing. Incorrect estimate of effort. You think you have to ask once or twice or 3 times. Cameron went over this on the call today, how many times it takes to follow up with someone. I'm not going to go over those answers. You got to watch the video. Okay. Being too reasonable, right? You think everybody's going to just be easy. You don't have a financial plan in place. You don't actually have a process. You handle all things as an objection. You don't assume that it's a complaint first, and you don't even know the difference. Hopefully that's not a problem with these people in this call because you've gone through this before. A shortage of closing material. You got 1 skill or 2 skills. That'd be like a man in a fight that's got 1 thing that's all he can do. It works 60% of the time, great. The other 40% not working, you're losing a lot of deals. Okay. And then incorrect barrier, meaning you actually don't know what you have to do to overcome. You're letting an objection happen because you didn't do enough fact finding. You didn't already overcome the main things because you assume something different. You think it's a money issue and it's a schedule issue. So you measured wrong and now you're backed yourself into a corner. Okay. So those are 10 reasons why people fail at closing deals. And if it's not you closing deals, that's your staff. And most everybody on this call right now should never do less than $1,000 a day inside one location. Never less than 1,000, 7 days a week, 30 days of the month. That should be like minimum. And then your job should be, how do I do $4,000 today? How do I do 5,000 every day? Like, why can't you do $5,000 every single day? Because you're not asking. You don't have the product. There's not a belief. Your staff doesn't have the skill. They wait to make a call. They wait for someone to show up for an appointment. Oh, by the way, they didn't even do appointments today because no one's putting accountability on them because you haven't done it to yourself. So whichever one of these I went over today, from your leadership, your lack of skill in something, you can either run from it, pretend like it's not there, it's going to catch up to you, or you can tomorrow morning, get up in the morning, write your goals down, be part of the 5 a.m. club. What's up, Sarah? And lean into becoming the better version of yourself. And I will tell you, it doesn't have to take very long. You can change your life pretty quickly. And you can grow really fast if you do it with the idea that you know what the mission and what you're chasing. And it shouldn't just be money. It shouldn't just be about improving your life. Okay? Imagine the great you can do when you are successful long term, not just for the month or for the year. And you become a better version of yourself every 12 months, right? Q&A time, I'll give you guys about 10 minutes. And for you guys who have calls with me this week, make sure you give me some things that you want to directly focus on. Cameron, great job today.
Thank you, sir. First question coming to you from Mr. Wayne.
Let's roll, baby.
Aaron, first one's, I got 2 questions. So first one's pretty easy. So we rolled out Team Premier, had our meeting on Saturday, really good feedback so far. So I think we're headed the right direction on that. So Nick really, he lined out 4 tournaments and they're all NASCA and everything local to Houston is TKO. Do you feel like that's a good direction for us?
This is a great question. Obviously, it's very specific to a niche inside a niche, right? We're martial arts. Now we're going to competition. And I talked to Mike a little bit and got some great feedback from the meeting Saturday, and he sent me some stuff to review. Yeah, I was proud of your guys for doing that. They did a great job. To answer your question, to kind of give you a high picture, here's my belief system. And Wayne, this is where you as the leader in your company need to make a decision. 98% of people are going to disagree with me on this. I'm an outlier. But also I was the most successful. My belief is this. I would rather my students have to be trained to be good enough to go compete against the best in the world and get 4th place to the 3 top people in the entire world, as opposed to go to a smaller level event and dominate there and have a false pretense of how good they actually are. I'd rather play golf with Tiger Woods and get beat by 40 strokes than to play with my son and beat him by 4, right? That's my belief, because I believe if I play with Tiger every weekend or Phil every weekend or whoever you like in the golf world, if you're a golfer, it's pretty much impossible for me to not pick up some good habits, get a little more competitive, or give up quicker. It puts someone in transition. Or I can be like most martial arts schools, go against weaker competition, dominate them, act like we're some big dog. Matter of fact, former business that I used to own that's now still in operation, they changed their policy that I had, and they went and they go to these small little tiny baby events and they brag about winning. And the event that they were at, there wasn't even anybody in the competition. They bragged that they won some championship. It wasn't. It was an unranked, unsanctioned part of the event. And then Travis had his kids go against the highest competition. I think they placed 4th maybe or something like that, against the top 15 people in the world. Brag about that. Let me be number 4 to Tiger Woods. Come on, baby. When he was back in his healthy days. Okay. Let me be the 3rd best baseball team playing in the major leagues, not playing in some Pee Wee rec league. So my belief is put yourself against the best players in the world and rise to the occasion. I believe it's a longer horizon, bigger challenge, but also, why would you go compete just so you can brag about getting a trophy when really competition, if you teach this right, is what your guys got to do. Competition is designed to pressure test your skills. What do you do when life gives you adversity? Because if you just go somewhere and they hand you a trophy for showing up, what did you really learn? Like, what did you really learn? And I believe America's problem is we've had 20 years of giving kids trophies for doing nothing. Yeah. I ordered DoorDash the other day, a smoothie bowl and some avocado toast. I get the smoothie bowl, no avocado toast. Half the order's gone. People don't even check stuff anymore. You go into a store, you see how people are talking amongst each other, not actually paying attention to the people there. Like, no one's actually paying attention. They just have a job, and all they want to do is get off work so they can go home. We've raised a bunch of soft people in this country because all we do is hand them things. We've enabled them. I don't want to do that when I have people in my tutelage that are my responsibility. I wanted to change the world. That's my belief. That's what I did. So if that's the policy he's kind of picked, I think that's the right path to go.
Yeah, me too. Second one is, I've realized how important role playing is, and it's not something that I'm good at. I'm not creative. So coming up with scenarios and kind of, working with a team on those is difficult for me. So we are role playing our holiday sale. So can you think of three or four scenarios that would be good to kind of role play through as we're practicing them working with our members during the holiday sale?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question too, guys. Like, we're getting close to the nitty gritty of holiday sale. It's coming up. You guys should be marketing this internally daily, pretty much. But I would role play. I would actually, right now, if this was my business, I would have on my calendar for October, probably 3 or 4 dates during our staff training time where all it's going to be is role play. And what I would role play is this. I would role play the order of how you're going to walk someone through. Okay. And I would go over why those things are. I would role play what are the items we really want to sell and why. I would role play the proper way to even write up a ticket. Too many times orders are missed because the tickets are not written up properly. I would role play how to actually place the order. Whoever's going to place the order should be one person to place an order, so there's no confusion. I would role play who's going to take the money. I would pick the major topics that are going to be challenging when there's a lot of people there, and that would be a specific training that takes precedent over any other thing that you'll do in a staff training. So 3 or 4 of these October trainings you have, they would be replaced with the same time block with all we're going to do is work on something specific with the holiday sale.
Awesome. That's what we're doing tomorrow morning.
Love it. And then look, on things like that, after it's over and you review, you should always review good, bad, and ugly when it went. And I document everything. For me, I document everything. So the next year when I do it, I knew how I was going to grow into that new version of myself. You could always say, hey, Aaron, here's the 3 things that I did. Here's what I thought. Here's the worst way to do this, Wayne. And this is for everybody. Hopefully you're listening. In this scenario, he role plays tomorrow, something part of the holiday sale. And he says, Aaron, I did A, B, and C. What do you think? It's the worst way to ask me a question. Okay. Because I can take that 14 different ways. What I would prefer is you to be a stronger leader and say, Aaron, I went A, B, C. Here's what I liked that went well. Here's what I didn't like. Here's what I want to do again. Here's what I think I should not do again. Then ask me what I think, because now I understand your processing. I use the example of the math teacher saying, show me how you found your answer, right? Like, show me how you got to this answer. Because if you just give me, I did ABC, what do you think? I'm like, well, shit, I wouldn't have done any of those. And then you're confused, right? Because I don't know how you were thinking about what your thought pattern was. So, but yeah, that's where you should be. One of those things you should bring to me is, give me some feedback in that context. And then my goal is sometimes, honestly, just so you know too, guys, is, I want you to have a new set of problems. Wayne, 2 years from now, I want you to be coming to me and say, Aaron, I'm at 7 locations right now. This shit's getting out of hand. How do I set this up where I'm actually still making a 40% profit? Like, what do I do? Like, those are the problems I want you to have, because no one's going to be able to solve those for you in this industry, right? Except a guy like me. I don't want you asking me the same question you just asked me now, 12 months from now, because that, to me, I failed at pushing on you. So I'm not always going to just give you the answer, because I'm trying to teach you. So sometimes you're going to give me feedback and I'll give you a little nugget, and I want to see what you're going to do with that. Okay.
Got it. Yeah, I'm good at negotiating leases. I just got to get them open now.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir. Victor.
Hi, I've heard that the rule of thumb is you should have 1 chair in your lobby per spots for students on the mat. What would you? We've got 15 chairs and about 650 square feet. Pretty sure we could fit 20 students in there, but parents are complaining about it being too full. I think it's because the lobbies gets full in those classes with 15 kids. Any thoughts on how to address that?
Yes. First, I dealt with this a lot. So yes. First, going back to a teaching lesson here. Don't always hear that and think it's an actual objection, kind of like we talked about closing a deal. It's more times than not a complaint. There's something about people that are attracted to this industry. We hear everything as an objection, and we're trying to, and we want to be a people pleaser. And so we're trying to always solve it, and we're chasing our tail. So it's one, being prepared that it's a sign of success. If people are like, oh, this class is too full and my kid's not getting enough attention. First thing I ask myself is, did I train my instructor? Because one instructor should be able to handle 30 kids without any help. Like, that's the ratio that's real. Okay. A good, I didn't say great, excellent, remark. I said good instructor should be able to handle 30 kids by himself. If an instructor cannot handle 30 kids by himself, he is not even good. He might not be average. He's untrained, unskilled. Okay. Unemployable. Or freaking lazy. Okay. Cameron, Travis, and I are flying to Palestine this weekend to teach 120 something kids martial arts. They're splitting in 2 rooms. And the first thing I told Cameron is, they want to split 40 kids? What the hell? 40 kids is a small class. Okay. I had a 1,200 square foot school. I would put 40 people and kick all the parents out, because people show up for my class. Because I let them know I'm not teaching unless we pack out the floor. Okay. So first, it's understanding that you should want this problem, because it's not a problem. It's a sign of success. People want to go to busy restaurants. Okay. We tried to go to a place the other day. They turned us down. I was like, shit, I'll pay you $1,000. We had 10 people. I'll pay you $1,000. Just let us walk in. Too full. Come back in 3 hours. That's a good problem to have in a business. You got to turn away money. Okay. So one is being ready to hear it. And then what's your answer? What's your rebuttal? Okay. Is your staff trained enough? Second is, are they, I've had classes of that many tinies. Tinies are easy. Tinies are the easiest class to teach. If anybody struggles with 3-year-olds, it's because they're trying to teach them too much and not trying to actually communicate on the level what they should be doing, or they're trying to play too much or trying to teach too much. So they don't have a understanding what they're supposed to be there. But to go back to your question here is, I make sure that first thing I do is, somebody says, whatever, I'm going to trust that I've trained my staff to be able to handle that. I'm letting them, hey, look, we're the most popular place in town. People are trying to bust in to get in here. Right. And then I'm what I really want to do is like, what's the challenge? What's the problem? Okay. If it's like, hey, I have nowhere to sit. Okay. I hear that. Well, hey, have a seat on the floor. Does this work for you? Move somewhere and bring an extra chair. Or are they just feeling like they're not getting enough attention? That's the different issue. And then I need to observe and see if my guy is actually touching everybody once or twice a class, or making corrections, or is he being lazy? I watched a lot of video of classes where there's a line here and this guy's so locked in on this line, he can't see over here and over here. You watch an excellent instructor, their head is on a swivel. Head is on a swivel. They know the person walking in that door. They see mom wearing new glasses. They got 14 kids in this class. They got 12 in the next class coming. They've worked the flow. They've role played a flow. They're working the audience right here in the palm of their hand, no matter what happens. Okay. Kid could drop a turd right on the floor. You don't miss a beat. Picks it up, throws it away, and keeps on going. Okay. Maybe not that good, but if it's a real problem, maybe your flow's wrong. Maybe you haven't even role played flow. What I mean by that is how one class enters, next class leaves. Has that been role played? Is your instructor letting class into late? You know, is there a lack of communication? Is he passive on how he speaks to the families coming in? Does he not dictate and dominate the lobby? There's a lot of things that could be happening that's creating a problem that actually doesn't need to be a problem. But yeah, a good rule of thumb would be, you know, a chair. My daughter signed up for dance. Do you know how many chairs are in this dance studio? Dance studio is 5,000 square foot. You know how many chairs there are? 6. You know why? You can't go watch a class there. They don't allow you to. It's standard practice. Anybody's ever had their daughters in dance? It's pretty much standard practice. You can't go watch. Sit in your car. I want people there watching. I want them in there. So it's a matter of maybe try flow. And you could even like video something and send it to me. Or Cameron or Travis, one of us, right? And see if there could be an issue that you could correct so it's not as big of an issue. But then make sure your team is trained enough so they're making corrections. Everyone feels touched, seen, valued, right? And they don't see it as a problem. Like, I want people standing up. I want that. Like, I love that. I hate empty chairs. I hate empty chairs. Got something else for me? You look good in that shirt too, man.
Thank you. Would you ever hire someone with a pre-trial intervention? It's like a diversion before that went to trial.
Good question.
For stealing a car.
I've had we could sit here and do some stories of people I've hired before. I hired someone, a week later he went to jail for 10 years. I mean, there's so much context that I would have to understand before I feel comfortable with it. I mean, if I felt like the person was super qualified and there's some actual, like, you know, for example, I know someone who stole his dad's car and his dad teach him a lesson. Like, if it's some scenario like that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's an integrity issue. So I would have to know more context than just, you know, maybe that's something we can, if you want to call me tomorrow, we can go through.
Okay.
But I mean, if it's someone that actually like stole somebody's car that didn't know the person, whatever, I mean, obviously they're going to be around my people, my money, you know, that's probably a bigger issue there. You know, Cameron steals my car and I don't know it's missing and he borrowed it and whatever. Maybe that's a different scenario. Still be pissed off at you, Cameron. All right.
I had a question for you.
Bring on, last one, sir.
All right. So my question is going back to what you were talking about earlier. One of the skills you had us write down there. Why are you not looking at your next business opportunity 7 days a week? So if you have an idea of what you want to go into as a new business opportunity, but you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't really know exactly what to research into, what to look for, what to fact find on. And then also too, maybe you don't have the capital to be able to go start that next thing necessarily. Like what would you recommend is like the top 3 things that as a priority list to kind of start that process? Like, you know what you want to go into, but you don't really know what to look for. And you don't really know, you know, you don't have the money right now to go just, you know, pay for a business and buy one or either start one. So how would you recommend like going about that?
Okay, so great question. This is what everybody should be asking. This is what everybody should be asking. First, any business is 2% of what you know, 2% of what you know you don't know, and 96% of what you don't know you don't know. And that's what fucks you. And that's why people are scared to actually get new skills and their business dies. 97% of businesses fail within 10 years. By the way, guys, here, listen, everybody on this call, you shut your business down because you suck at running this business. You should start the next business in 30 days or less. You're bankrupt. You got no money. The slower you get back up on the horse, the worse your confidence goes. Okay. One of my guys I like watching on Shark Tank, okay, Mr. Wonderful. He sold a company for $4 million. He started with $10,000 with 3 other partners. Years later, he sold a company for $4.2 billion with 10 investors with him. This was 20-some years ago. He sold the company. He's been wealthy for a long time, but he's had multiple failures, losing tens and close to 100 million on one deal. Like, not everything's going to win just because you are Mr. Wonderful. You make bad bets times. That's okay. Get back on the horse fast. I'm not going to win in every business I do. So it's the 96% that screws you. So, one, remove the standard narrative that you believe is true. Trying to buy a house, it's $1 million. Right now, you need $250,000, $300,000 down to buy that house because that's what we've been taught. Because that's where you go through the banks. Oh, by the way, banks can't even hold the actual property. They can only hold the debt to the property because the way our government has set up everything. So if you follow normal trends, you're going to have a normal life because you're being reasonable. So it's not money that it takes. Okay. Like I said, I have a meeting this week. I've been working with a guy that I'm going to try to buy a company. I'm going to try to buy this company with no money over the next 4 years that I believe if I can grab and get a hold of in 10 years is $100 million a year company. Easy. Like, that would be small numbers. And I'm going to try to buy with no money. So one is, are you doing something for a money play, or is it something you're passionate about? Because if you do it for money, probably going to have a wrong bet. And are you doing it because the perception of what it looks like compared to what it actually is? So you got to get really clear on the intention, and then be okay not knowing things and putting in the work. You're going to go from that, employee to self-employed to get to a business owner to one day become an investor. You got to follow that channel. It's going to take a process, but also know that you're probably going to fail at 7 of 10 of these before the 12th one is actually going to work. It's going to take a period of time, and be okay losing it all. Okay. Like, you got to be comfortable with that. Our meal company right now, which you and Emma are investors in with us. Super excited because, like, I know that challenge. Like, you got to experience eating food with us the other day, testing out stuff. When the guys come in November, they're going to have that experience right here at this house. Like, it's going to be fun, but it's already been harder. We've been negotiating at least for 4 months now. I ain't got a sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff's going to happen that's out of your ability to handle at that moment. Actually, it's come out to be a blessing right now because we needed an opportunity to get some stuff ready to go. And we already figured out a little bit different strategy. It's going to be a blessing, but in the moment, it's stressful. I had one of my schools that took 1.5 years to negotiate a lease for. So it's the 96%. And so every single day, that's that growth, right? Yeah, those are great questions. All right, guys. Hey, took an hour of your time today. You guys are having calls with me the rest of this week. Oh, real quick. Next week, Tuesday and Thursday, we will have our live 12 o'clock Eastern time calls. Next Tuesday night, we will not have a live call here. I will have some pre-recorded for you because Cameron, Travis, and I will be in Palestine. It's 7-hour time difference, I believe. So that would be 4 in the morning. But we'll still have our independent calls. I'll work on scheduling those. I'm still going to make myself available, even though I'll be halfway across the country. And we'll also be documenting that process and get you guys involved here in the future, doing that with us as well, too. All right, guys, have a great Tuesday night. I'll see some of you guys the rest of this week. The end of the month is coming. Okay. Friday, I'm going to make myself available, help you guys do a little quick war room scenario. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. We'll do that Friday. Saturday's the last day of the month. Don't slow down, push forward, hit your targets, make some money every single day, but also improve yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and your influence. Love you guys. Peace out. See y'all later.